All right, here we are. Welcome into the sports room. Friday show. You made it to Friday, ladies and gentlemen. You have made it through the week.
Yeah.
And now for your favorite portion of Friday, that is the sports show. Gentlemen, weekend is upon us.
It is here.
How we feeling?
I feel good. Wore out, but good.
Yeah, feeling good. Crazy week. No car, but...
Tell us how that's been, dude. Been driving your mom's minivan around?
No, I've been getting rides to work, rides back to work, hitching rides, hitched a ride from you. But my mom's out of town, so I've been borrowing her car. Getting around.
The ladies love it, dude.
The ladies love it. But yeah, I don't need to go anywhere. I'm just going to watch the Titans.
Any other big plans for the weekend, Biggin?
Man, no huge plans. Probably just going to get together with a few friends. Might head down to St. George this weekend. I'm not sure, but...
Old stomping grounds?
Old stomping grounds, man.
People who don't know, you went to Dixie State.
Went to Dixie State.
Played football there.
Trailblazer Nation.
Is that what you're going to go? You're going to go visit?
Yeah,
campus?
Go see some friends. It's my friend's birthday, so... And one kid I coach is actually going to Dixie to play football. So.
This will be kind of warm. It's been so gray. Like here in Utah, it's been so gray and rainy the last few days. I don't know.
I like it. It's got that Seattle vibe.
You like it?
I like it too.
I like Seattle.
I have beef with it a little bit. It's just like, it's just like depressing outside all the time.
Yeah. Got a point.
I lived in England,
that's true.
So
I've said this before, like the post Christmas, but before spring is the worst time of the year because it's just cold outside, but there's no like cheer. There's no joy in the air.
Just drought.
Like there is pre-Christmas.
I like it. I do have an announcement or a shout out, if you will. But Brian Finnerty is fighting his first UFC fight tomorrow night.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You serious?
And the reason he texted me and was like, told that he listened to our show one time, and I was like, he's going on. He's going to have a UFC fight tomorrow. His first fight.
I can't say I'm shocked.
No.
I think it'd be pretty good.
I wouldn't want to fight him.
Oh, where is he fighting?
Salt Lake.
Kind of want to go watch.
It's $35.
Never mind.
I'm going. I'll see you there, Brian.
Got lots to get to today. We got divisional round this weekend in the NFL, the most exciting weekend in NFL season by far.
Separation.
Is the divisional round. Lots of storylines to get to. The last time we talked to you, the national championship game hadn't been played yet, so we have some comments about that as well. We'll try to do that quickly, though, since it's kind of a week-old story now. But before we do that, we're going to do a 2-minute drill here and kind of go through some of the bigger storylines. But before we do that, I have an announcement to make to you guys.
Uh-oh.
You're getting married.
You're pregnant.
No. I'm what?
Sorry, Jess.
You're pregnant.
Sorry, Jess. He's not getting married.
We have officially made it.
We made it.
We've made it, guys.
What you mean we made it?
We made it. I'm about to tell you why.
Derek, we made it.
We have made it.
We started from the bottom.
Now
we started from the bottom, now we're here. Let me tell you why.
So is Drake coming in?
I wish.
Okay.
This is why. We have officially made it for this reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the Houston Texans cheerleaders follow us on Twitter.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Shout out to the Houston Texans
Shout
cheerleaders.
out to y'all.
The names of which that follow us are as follows: Olivia, Alexis, Taryn, Sasha, Natalie, and Yuki.
Wow, Yuki.
Follow us on Twitter.
That's beautiful.
And as such, we have made it.
We made it. So we got to shout out J.J. Watt and them a little more on the show.
Yes, we are living large now.
Yeah, cool.
We've officially blown up. We've had our big break.
Yeah, definitely.
This is it right here.
Cheerleaders. Yes.
Cheerleaders. The Houston Texans cheerleaders follow us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And we will not rest until each and every one of them does.
All of them.
Every single one of them.
Olivia, Yuki, spread
Alexis,
the word.
Taryn, Sasha, Natalie, you guys got to work for us over there.
Talk to your girls. Holla at them. Speaking of that, just real quick, side note, I got really excited this week, and I almost took a screenshot and sent it to you because I thought Tim Tebow liked our post.
Yo.
So I saw it, and I looked at my notification, and it said Tim Tebow, and it said a couple other names that follow us, and I'm like, oh, shoot, he liked the picture. And I went, and I kept refreshing. He didn't like it. It was just notifying me that he had posted a story. I was deeply saddened. Yeah.
Tell you what, though, that is equally as good as having 6 Houston Texans cheerleaders.
Definitely. That's
no matter what happens from here on out, we will be able to tell anybody that we made it. We did it. Yeah. We did it big. We blew up.
Yep.
We got this.
We got it.
All right, let's move on. This is the sports room, the sports show that actually talks about sports. Let's do a little 2-minute drill, a 2-minute drill that actually lasts 6 minutes. 2-minute drill is where we go through some of the bigger headlines of the day to kind of get through some things quickly so we can get to the biggest stories that we actually want to talk about a lot. So let's do that first. We'll do a little 2-minute drill starting now. First story, Le'Veon Bell said yesterday that if he gets franchise tagged again by the Pittsburgh Steelers, that he would possibly sit the year or just retire. Talking about a guy who's made $16 million in his career. Possibly one of the best, probably the best running back in the league, talking about how he might retire.
In that situation, I guess you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I kind of understand his position, especially coming into the beginning of the year when he wasn't getting paid what he thought he should have been. He held out. And, I agreed with him because I think Le'Veon Bell's if not, I think he's number one. There's a couple people that are right there next to him, but Le'Veon Bell's arguably number one, easily number two running back in the league. But for him to retire at 25 years old, you walking away from a pretty penny, but at the same time, you're saving your mind. So I don't know.
This is the big. He's 25. He's about to turn 26.
25.
The shelf life on NFL running backs it seems like it's shorter than a gallon of milk. I mean, they come and go so quickly because of the wear and tear, the amount of hits that their bodies take. They're in the league and they're out just like that. Mm-hmm. And this contract that he's about to have right now is the one that if he's going to make a lot of money, it's got to be out of this contract. Because by the time he turns 30, 31, running backs that are that old just don't make it.
Right.
Just can't do it anymore.
Not Jerome. He's not Jerome Bettis.
Look, dude,
it's not going to work.
Le'Veon, do you want to play football or not?
Or not?
Because if you don't want to play, then just retire. Okay, you're getting paid $12 million this year. If they tag you again next year, you're going to make $14 million.
Right.
And you want to complain about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I get paid $15 an hour. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't understand why, this. He's talking about it's not about the money. It's about wanting to feel valued where he is. He's the most valuable running back in the league. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you have to understand what is value in terms of a payroll. Because if they want to pay him, he wants QB money. He wants $20 million a year. Mm-hmm. If they want to pay him that, they're going to have to let go of a lot of other pieces around. They're not going to be able to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster, I would say. Martavis Bryant's going to be gone. They're going to lose pieces on defense. All because he feels like he wants to make $20 million a year. And that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. So if you want to play football, sign up and play. Go ahead and make your $14 million next year, however much it's going to be. Right. But quit complaining, quit whining, and go out there and win and play.
I think he's being super selfish because not only, if you want your money, you want your tag, or you want to get the contract, whatever it is you want. But he's adding drama at the worst time of the season.
Yeah.
You have 3 games. You win and you're champions after 3 games. Mm-hmm. And he's throwing this into the mix. The Steelers just, this is... I just feel like they've been kind of all over the place over the last couple weeks, and this is not good. This does not bode well for Pittsburgh.
Definitely not. I mean, talking about this entire season for the Steelers. First of all, in the offseason, Ben Roethlisberger talking about how he might retire. And then he goes out, throws 5 picks against the Jags, and says, "Oh, I don't know if I have what it takes anymore." And then Martavis Bryant's like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be traded." And then Antonio Brown's on the sideline throwing coolers because he's not getting enough touches. And now Le'Veon Bell doesn't want to come back because they want to keep franchise tagging.
James Harrison
gets cut, and then all this drama around him. It's like, guys,
it's the trickle down effect.
You guys trying to play football or not? Right. I mean, or should we just get some cameras in there and create a reality show that's going to air on VH1? You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to be a football team or do you not want to be a football team? Or is all you care about being in the news? Because that's seemingly all that matters to them. But like you said, it comes at the worst time possible.
Very.
And distractions matter.
Yes.
They do matter. Anything that takes your focus away from the game hurts your chances of winning. Mm-hmm. And this is definitely a distraction.
I agree.
So that was probably one of the bigger storylines coming out this morning. For moving on to our next story, let's take 2 minutes and talk about this, guys, since we haven't had a chance to comment on it. The national championship game, college football.
Ooh.
One of the better ones that I can remember, honestly. A lot of people were bagging on it, railing on it, saying that it wasn't great. I thought it was a great game. Down 13-0 at halftime, Nick Saban makes the big change, benching Jalen Hurts, who's 25-2 as a starter, bringing in true freshman Tua Tagovailoa. Mm-hmm. Who comes in and basically sets the world on fire. Made a couple mistakes, threw a pick, but was able to pass the ball down the field, which was something that Jalen Hurts seemingly was not able to do.
He reminds me of Maui from Moana. It's great.
You're welcome. No.
Other than the hair.
Okay, I was going to say, Maui's like 6'9".
Yeah, as a play a line. The dude's a beast.
Pound of muscle.
And
explain the comparison.
No, just, Hawaiian. Yeah, that's basically it. But also they just have this, like... Aura about them. Right. And so, dude, with this game, though, all I'm saying is... You guys picked Georgia, and I picked Bama, and I don't mean to gloat, but the reason I picked Bama was because I could not see Nick Saban losing. And no matter how bad that game looked in the first half, he made those changes, and he got it done, and that's why I couldn't bet against Nick Saban. It's because of what he did in that game made him one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I thought I was fine.
I did too.
For most of the game, everything that I thought would happen was happening.
I was chilling.
I thought, Georgia wasn't necessarily running the ball as well as I thought they would. Their offensive line
Georgia
wasn't as dominant. Sony Michel was running hard, but he got 11 carries maybe? I don't know.
And Chubb wasn't getting it done.
I feel like they were giving these consolatory carries to Nick Chubb.
Yep.
Michelle is obviously the better running back.
Yeah.
But they were just okay, you've been here 5 years, you've dealt with so much, we'll give you some carries in the national championship game. Because he didn't do anything anytime he touched the ball.
Right.
Jake Fromm played well, I thought, for 3 quarters. They took their foot off the pedal in the fourth. And
looked like a freshman.
Tagovailoa made him pay. And talk about that he's a lefty, was a top-ranked dual-threat quarterback, but he had an absolute cannon strapped to his shoulder. The touchdown pass in overtime, the game-winning throw, that thing was on a frozen rope.
Yeah.
41 yards. Usually when quarterbacks throw passes like that, they leave the camera and come back down into the camera. It was just a laser. You saw that 41 yards.
I have 2 comments real quick about this game, and then Biggin, you can jump in. The first one is Tua's touchdown to Calvin Ridley.
Complete accident.
Yeah. That was going to Najee Harris, hands down. Second of all, I'm grateful. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm grateful that Bama won, but just for the sake of the self-esteem of the kicker.
Whoa.
His life would have been ruined.
Man.
That guy
I said that I watched with my dad and my brothers. I said if Alabama after he missed that kick, I said if Alabama loses this game, this kid's life's over.
Good for you, kicker.
Andy Papanastas, I believe is his name. Congratulations, you've officially saved your life.
By doing nothing.
20 minutes after ruining it, basically.
Because death threats were definitely coming his way.
They were. Oh, for sure. Much worse than that.
Poor kid.
His life literally would have been ruined if Alabama had lost that game. Anyway, moving on to the last point of our 2-minute drill. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost by 34 to Toronto, who was playing without Serge Ibaka and without Kyle Lowry, which is the Cavaliers' second straight blowout loss. Now, obviously, teams lose games, have bad games, have off nights, sure. The more worrying is during the game, you see this video shot of LeBron yelling at one of the coaches on the bench and yelling at all the other players on the team during a timeout. And then second is in the post-game press conference, you hear Tyronn Lue talking about how people have agendas. And if they're going to play the right style of basketball, then people need to drop their agendas. So the question that I would ask you guys right now, should we be worried about Cleveland?
No.
Yes.
I say no, and first of all, Tyronn Lue and the rest of the Cavaliers organization, they need to get over being passive-aggressive and just call it for what it is, okay? Tyronn Lue, if you feel like LeBron James is doing that, say his name. Say LeBron James is playing with his own agenda. Don't just say certain players have agendas. Because then that's going to make Kevin Love feel like he has an agenda. Then it's going to make Dwayne Wade feel like he has an agenda. LeBron, you know what I mean? Just call it for what it is. But I'm not worried about Cleveland because we've seen this happen in LeBron James' career several times with coaches. It didn't happen so much with Spoelstra because that was Dwayne Wade's team, not LeBron's. But it's happened in Cleveland over and over and over again. Even going back to when he was young with Mike Brown there. It happened. LeBron James wants to be the coach. That's just what it is. He wants to be the coach. He wants to be the GM, the owner. I'm not worried, and I'm really not worried because I looked at a stat, and it said every year that Nick Saban has won a national championship, LeBron James has won a championship the last few years. So not every year, but the last few years. So LeBron's getting a ring this year according to that stat. So I'm not worried.
I'll tell you why I am worried about the Cavs. It is nothing to do with where they currently are because they have won 13, like a couple weeks ago they won 13 out of 14 games. Mm-hmm. So I'm not worried about the Cavs, but I'm worried about them because of the Warriors. I think LeBron is coming to a realization that he cannot beat the Golden State Warriors team that they have with the team that he has.
Agreed.
And so I think he's in panic mode a little bit. And I think he knows that something's got to change. I don't think DeAndre Jordan is going to game change it to the point where they're going to beat the Warriors.
Right.
So, in my opinion, that's why I'm worried about the Cavs, not because of this little losing streak and getting blown out a couple times, but because I think LeBron knows he can't win with the team he has against the team that's on the other side, and there's nowhere else to go.
Well, listen, I don't think that was news. I think that's been the case all season. From the moment that the Warriors signed Kevin Durant, there was never a chance, I didn't think, ever, that anybody was going to beat him.
Nope.
As the league was present, as was constituted the league. With the way the teams were set up then, there was no chance, and I would still say that that's still the case now. Mm-hmm. We'll go ahead and make that the 2-minute drill. I think we lasted about 11 minutes there. Gotta think of a new name, maybe. But 2-minute drill going through. But let's stick with this Cavaliers story. Okay, I just asked you guys if you should be worried. Biggin says no. Derek says yes. I'm going to say yes as well, but probably for a different reason than Derek. I've thought this for a while. I thought this when the move was made, and then this worry that I had initially was, kind of suppressed within me because the Cavaliers were able to win a championship. Tyronn Lue is not a head coach in this league. Mm-mm. Coaching LeBron is the hardest job there is.
Yes.
What's the hardest coaching job in the league? It's the one that's got LeBron on it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest coaching job in the league. And I've said this a million times on this show and off this show. The mark of a good NBA coach is, can you coach defense? Okay, and without two of their best players, they just gave up 133 points.
Right.
Or however many points they gave up last night.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows me that if you can't coach defense, you're not going to win.
No.
Think about every team, every head coach that you can think of that's been a successful championship-winning head coach. Talking about Popovich, okay? Talking about Phil Jackson, talking about Steve Kerr. The Warriors have been by far the best defensive team in the league for the last 3 years, probably. Not far behind San Antonio. This year you got Boston, who's a great defensive team. That's how you win in all sports. With the exception of baseball, I suppose, unless you count pitching as defense. Same thing goes in football. If you can't coach defense, if you cannot stop the other team from scoring, you won't win. And that was the problem last year, and this is the problem this year. Obviously, they were good enough last year to get through the East because the East blows. Yeah. And the East blows more so. The bottom of the East, anyway, this year is worse than it was last year. The top of the East, you could argue, maybe is better with Boston. But I would say there's serious concern. You got to wait for Isaiah Thomas to be seriously integrated back into the team, but I'm not concerned so much about what's happening now. I'm concerned about long-term picture. You can't play defense.
Yeah.
And when you play a team that is good, you just have no chance.
No chance.
Like the Warriors, you got no chance. Even if they were playing the Rockets, I think they'd lose to the Rockets in a 7-game series. To be completely honest.
I agree.
Just because you can't stop anybody.
Right.
You couldn't stop a nosebleed. Okay? And that just won't win in the playoffs.
And that's the other reason I'm not worried either, because I know it looks grim right now, and yeah, their defense has been terrible. Right? And you have one of the best defensive players in the league in LeBron James, but like you said, Tyronn Lue is not that great of a coach. He's inherited a great team. But I think, personally, LeBron James, his greatness is going to supersede everything that he's going through right now and everything the team's going through. I think after the All-Star break, once they've had some time to kind of get away from each other, get away from Tyronn Lue, go relax over the All-Star break, get their bodies right, get their minds right, I think the momentum's going to shift a little bit. I think if LeBron and Ty Lue can get on the same page, it's going to shift.
So what needs to happen then for Cleveland?
LeBron's got to shut up.
You're playing Dr. Derek. You're Dr. Derek Crystal, and you have been called in to Cleveland to diagnose and heal the Cleveland Cavaliers. Your suggestion would be what?
You have about 6 months to live.
You are terminal.
I would tell them
it's over.
It's over. Here's the thing. LeBron is 33 years old. They're sitting at a 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, a weak Eastern Conference. Okay? You're going to get to the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. I still think LeBron is going to take them to the finals. I think if it's Cleveland, Boston, you can't bet against LeBron. He's going to be fired up playing against Kyrie. I put my money on Cleveland. The issue is you're not going to win if you're content with getting to the finals, that's fine, but you're not going to beat the Warriors right now. Barring some injury that happens to Golden State, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, whatever it is, you are not good enough to beat the Warriors right now.
At all.
So I tell the Cavs that they're done. LeBron's going to have to go form another super team to wait out and potentially compete against the Warriors, because a lot of teams in the NBA right now, I think, are trying to bide their time to strike right when the Warriors dynasty is going to end. I think when Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, when that splits up, there are teams right now that are young teams, including Boston, that is trying to get to a point where that is when they're going to win the championship. They know they're not going to win right now, but Cleveland has to win right now. LeBron is 33. They have to win right now, and they're not going to.
So, based off that, it's probably likely that LeBron will end up in Houston. Because that was the big story for a while. I think it's likely now. I mean, I don't know if
I thought this about Chris Paul as well, and that seems to be, a busted myth, but I don't know if that's really LeBron's style.
I don't think it is either. But
I think he's more of a ball-dominant player. And I think you're looking at two other players there, at least, in James Harden and Chris Paul, that need to be ball dominant as well.
Much like OKC.
I could see Chris Paul, though, because look at what's happened here is James Harden he's still his normal self on that team. Chris Paul has been kind of leading the depth of that team, as like he almost is leading those reserves for Houston. And I think LeBron could use that, honestly, him and James Harden in the front court, Chris Paul coming in as like a distributor and helping create things for a bench. Maybe they pick up a couple players. I could see it happening. I don't want it to happen. I honestly think LeBron is looking at the end of his career like he's looking through the barrel of a gun. He sees the end and he doesn't want to, but I think he's going to be in panic mode, and that's why I thought he was going to stay with Cleveland. I really did. But I think this panic mode that's going to set in is why he's going to leave.
He's going to leave.
This is what the problem has been. Or not, I don't know if this has been a problem, but this is what the issue is right now in Cleveland. LeBron's 33. His contract's up at the end of the year, like it almost always is every year he's ever played. His contract's up at the end of the year. He also, I think, sees things the way that you guys do. I'm 33. I'm coming down the home stretch of my career. I need to win right now.
Right now.
Dan Gilbert and the rest of the Cleveland Cavaliers organization are thinking, okay, we've offloaded Kyrie, our youngest talent, but we've got what's going to be the number one overall pick probably in next year's draft. We need to hold on to that pick. LeBron's probably going to leave, and we need to start building for the future. However, LeBron's thinking, let's win now. Let's trade that pick, get DeAndre Jordan now, and have a better chance at winning title this year. And I think there's a real clash going on in there. Because like we've seen in the past and the present, that LeBron wants to call the shots. He wants to be the one making all the decisions on the court, off the court. And a lot of times he's in a powerful enough position where
he can.
They listen to him.
Yeah.
So what happened last year? At this time last year, he was sitting in the media complaining about how they needed another playmaker. If you remember. Talking about, we need a point guard. We need another playmaker. Never mind the fact that you got Kyrie Irving on your team. He's talking about, we need a playmaker. We need another player. Which I thought was super dumb.
Darren Williams was
a silly thing to do. So you get Darren Williams in there who doesn't make a shot the entire finals.
At all.
And so this is what's happening right now. He's saying, I want to win now. Dan Gilbert's saying, no, you're going to leave. Why would I trade away our best asset to get a player who really, I don't even know how much he would better the team. He might better the defense as a whole, but he's not an offensive threat. He's a good rebounder, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he can't. He's not going to be able to defend.
You can't even have him on the court late in a close game because of his free throw shooting.
Right.
He's not the guy for Cleveland.
In Cleveland, he's JaVale McGee for the Golden State Warriors. That's who we would be.
Yeah. And this is what LeBron wants. He wants to trade away this pick so that they can win now.
Right.
And Cleveland would be stupid to do that, I think.
I think so, too.
But they might listen to him because if not, he just goes in the media and whines and complains about it forever.
People that need... Well, what LeBron needs is he needs somebody big enough like Paul George on his team. Like if Paul George was able to leave where he was at kind of thing, went to Cleveland, then they would be serious contenders against the Warriors. If you're LeBron James right now, it's like your only option, I think, in the next couple years to win a championship, take less money, and if you can't beat them, join them.
Will never happen.
And
he will never take less money.
Yeah,
he might join a super team, but he will
I'm
never
just saying,
take
like,
less money.
join the Warriors, and that will never happen.
Gosh,
I'm just saying, like,
please no.
The Warriors.
Whoa.
Like, if you look at them, they're too good. People are like, you have Paul Pierce calling Kevin Durant. They're saying he's past LeBron James as the best active player right now, at least offensively.
I think he is offensively.
And then you have Steph Curry, who is a freak, gets the ball off in 0.01 seconds, and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, defensive player of the year. Like, if you're Cleveland, like, you just don't have the power to beat them right now.
See, and real quick, that's the reason why we need to stop comparing LeBron James to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Because throughout their careers, yeah, Kobe and Shaq had their beef, whatever. But Kobe and Michael Jordan, never once did you ever hear them in the media complaining about needing another All-Star, complaining about their team, arguing with their coach on the side, on the side of the court, yelling at him, being irate with their teammates. I never saw that from them. Yeah, they got on their teammates, but I never saw this type of behavior because they knew they were great. They knew they were good enough to get over that hump. And LeBron James has to find it within himself, and he's got to help the organization, not go against the organization.
Do you think, this is a side note, sorry if this gets off topic a little bit, but do you think Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls could compete with the current Golden State Warriors?
Better than Cleveland.
I agree. I think they could do better than Cleveland.
I say they take them to 7, and that's just because of Jordan's sheer will.
Yeah.
It's fun to debate.
Food for thought.
It's food for thought. It's fun to debate. I don't know that we'll obviously never know the answer to that.
Unless you play 2K. Play 2K and you find out.
It's fun to think about, I think.
Right.
Worthy of note, I heard that Paul Pierce say that same thing, that Kevin Durant was like the greatest scorer of all time. Which...
it's a little out there.
I mean, if Kevin Durant's the greatest scorer of all time, then what is Michael Jordan anymore?
Exactly.
He was the greatest scorer of all time. He could beat you any way you wanted, and I don't care what anybody says. That includes shooting threes.
Right.
Yeah. Michael Jordan was a career like 33% 3-point shooter. Kevin Durant's like 37. So it's not like there's this huge gaping difference between their two career numbers as 3-point shooters. Michael Jordan's the best scorer that there's ever been in this league, and probably will ever be. And I don't care how tall Kevin Durant is, because that's what everyone says. Oh, he's so tall. He's 7 feet tall. I don't care. Michael Jordan is the best scorer that this league will ever see.
The truth spitting lies.
The truth telling lies. Call him the lie. Looking like a billy goat.
So obviously plenty of problems going on in Cleveland. This is a sports room, a sports show that actually does talk about sports. Let's get on to what is the biggest news and will undoubtedly be the most fun to talk about, and it is the most entertaining weekend in professional football, which is this weekend. It is the divisional round. Guys, it's time to make some picks. So let's start with the first game that will be played, which is this Saturday, January 13th, 4:35 Eastern Time. We got the Falcons at the Eagles. The Eagles are the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, and they are the underdog in this game. Obviously, Nick Foles getting the start. Break it down for me, guys.
I still like Philadelphia. Obviously, you're down who should have been the MVP, Carson Wentz. But, again, Foles has been there before. Foles has played at an elite level before, and he's been, he was an elite quarterback for one season in Philadelphia. And that defense is still elite. That defense is fast. They fly around. They get stops. And you're going to have to put up tons and tons and tons of points against these guys. And I just don't see Atlanta doing that because Matt Ryan is not Matty Ice of the MVP season, okay? He's not the same guy. That defense over in Atlanta is amazing, but I still think Philadelphia edges them out in the end. I say Philadelphia wins 21-17.
Atlanta's offense averaging 13 less points a game this year than last year.
Did you catch Biggin's pun? The Eagles' defense out there flying around.
Flying around.
Was that intentional? Was that intentional?
But now I'm gonna act like it is.
All right, I'm taking Atlanta. I think all they had to do is get to the playoffs, and I think they're gonna be fine. I think Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, their defense is playing well. If you have Carson Wentz in there, I still think it's like you said about the Rams. You have to learn how to lose first, and I think the Eagles are going to learn how to lose. I think the Falcons learned that last year. I think it's still going to be close. I think the Falcons are going to win at 24-17.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are too one-dimensional without Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
just run
you can't in
all day.
football just only have one way to move the ball and still succeed.
Right.
I don't think. And obviously, Nick Foles is the ultimate wild card in this discussion. We don't know how he's going to play. Is he going to play well? Is he not? He played pretty good against the Giants, but everyone plays well against the Giants this year. And then for the last 2 weeks of the season, he hasn't played that well. In all honesty, and so it's going to be up to him. I think. Can he move the chains on third down? They're going to run the ball predominantly on first and second down. He's going to find himself in probably a lot of 3rd and 5, between 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 7. I imagine is where he's going to live. Can he move the chains on plays like that? That's what remains to be seen. But you're talking about Atlanta. They've got Dan Quinn as their head coach, and he was the mastermind behind the Legion of Boom, and it's never really been the same since he left.
Right.
And he has kind of instituted that same philosophy in Atlanta. Undersized, sure, but speed, fly to the ball.
They do fly around.
And so I think I like Atlanta in this one too, which makes me nervous because, again, nobody drafted Atlanta. When we did the draft a month ago, they were out of the playoffs at that time. Now they're in it, playing well. They played really well the last couple weeks, but I do think Atlanta's going to win.
Is this revenge season for Atlanta?
I don't know. They certainly seem to be playing with a little chip on their shoulder, especially the defense.
Teams that have lost in the Super Bowl historically have a very rough time getting back.
Yeah, that's true.
But the way they lost and just who they are and how the NFC's looking, I think they've got a shot.
Yeah,
I think so.
I agree.
All right, next game, the afternoon, the late game on Saturday, excuse me, New England playing host to the Tennessee Titans, Derek's boys. New England is a 13.5-point favorite. It's supposed to be 55 degrees in Boston.
Whew.
Supposed to rain, but 55 degrees. I'll go ahead. I'll start with this one. Bill Belichick tries so hard to keep distractions out of his locker room. And in all of a week, the biggest distraction probably that he's ever had, aside from probably the Deflategate, which was postseason, has entered into his locker room with this Seth Wickersham story about these battle of egos that's happening between Kraft, Belichick, and Brady. Mm-hmm. And they've just been stewing on it for a week.
Yeah.
I don't have the gumption to pick Tennessee, but I do have the gumption to say that they will not cover the spread. Yeah. They will win, but by less than 2 touchdowns, I think. So I'm going with New England. But people who think that this isn't going to be a big deal, look, this is it's not a big deal, but this distraction, this story, it does matter. Mm-hmm. Every second that they spend thinking about something that's not their opponent will evidently make them play worse. Mm-hmm. And so they will not play as well as they would hope. And I think Tennessee's playing with a little bit of confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I don't have the gut to pick Tennessee, but I'm definitely taking the under on the line.
I can see that. The thing about Tennessee is Tennessee has nothing to lose right now. So these guys aren't going out there feeling pressure. They're not going out there feeling panic because they know realistically nobody picked them to be here. Nobody expected Tennessee to be where they're at. And Tennessee's defense is sneaky good. They have a really good defense. You got leaders like Jarrell Casey and Sly Williams up front for them who get pressure and stop the run. And that whole defense, they're young, but Tennessee's defense they're pretty good. And then, you got Marcus Mariota back there, and then you have Derrick Henry, who played out of his mind last week. And we know that he's a fourth quarterback. And I just believe, and I said it coming into this year, or last year, sorry, that it would be a team that isn't very good that would take Tom Brady out. Because Tom Brady has that ego too, and the Patriots aren't expecting to lose this game. And I really believe they're going to take the gas off in this game. Now, I'm picking New England to win, but it's going to be closer than it should. And I think Tom Brady's going to have a meltdown in this game. I'm predicting it. He's going to have one. It's going to happen.
The Patriots
don't do it, dude.
Have only lost one game in 13 games. And I look at that stuff, like when I do March Madness, I look at
how they're playing going
in. But they do have a lot of distractions going on.
Yeah, they do.
I did draft the Patriots in our draft, and so I feel like I'm covered that way. I'm picking the Titans, baby.
Don't do it, dude.
And it is strictly out of pride.
That's a real fan right there.
There is absolutely no reason.
There's no logical reason why you would do this.
Here's my thoughts on the game, though, just because I know I'll quickly give it to you. If it's a rainy game, it's in Foxborough.
That favors Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it favors Tennessee, but I worry about Mariota because I think the best thing that could have happened to the Titans was going down 21-3 and winning that game against the Chiefs. Yeah. The worst thing for the Titans is I don't think they're scared of New England, but I think Mariota can make some questionable decisions. He's still young. He can make some questionable decisions, and I could put him in a tough spot. Yeah. However, I think the 13.5 spread and everything going on in New England, I agree they're not going to cover, but I'm picking the Titans because if I'm right, it's going to be sick.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The Titans will upset the Patriots out of the mouth of Derek Crystal. All right, now to the Sunday games. In the AFC, we've got Jags at Steelers, 17 degrees in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are favored by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers. The Jags didn't show me enough offensively. I know the Steelers got a lot going on. I think they'll be fine this round. I think the Jaguars are really good. They have a really good defense. Yeah. But I don't see Blake Bortles knocking them off. I really don't. I don't see him making it to the AFC Championship game. You got to go with Pittsburgh, and then I think Pittsburgh is going to have a meltdown from there. Yeah,
I talked about it a little bit before, all the drama that's been going on with the Steelers this year, and I probably mentioned half of it. Mm-hmm. But all that, I mean, obviously that's not ideal, but what it does mean is that they've learned how to deal with drama.
Right.
And so they know how to deal with this. I cannot wait. I just want to watch. I wish they would just keep one camera on Jalen Ramsey and Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Just follow one camera.
Mic them up.
Have a separate little screen down there on DirecTV so I can just walk. That's the part of this that's most fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah.
But I do like Pittsburgh to win this game. I think just the way they lost to Jacksonville last time, I think they're ready to play, especially defensively. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars didn't score a point this game.
Wow.
I just have no confidence in them, and they've been playing in Florida all season. It's going to be 17 degrees, and so teams coming from warm weather climates usually don't play well in cold weather. I'm going with the Steelers.
I'm gonna go the other way this time. I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
Don't do it.
Hey, I picked the Titans.
Here's the thing.
Don't do it.
The last time the Jaguars were in the playoffs was 2007, and that year they beat the Steelers twice. I think they can do the same thing this year, and I think if they beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs, it's going to be a low-scoring ball game. I picked Jacksonville because Jacksonville is exactly like that 2000 Baltimore Ravens team that won the Super Bowl. They had a great defense. They didn't have much offense. They didn't have many receiving weapons. They have Marquise Lee, Mercedes Lewis in Jacksonville, but it's not great. And then you got Leonard Fournette, who got stuffed up last week and will probably get stuffed up by the Steelers defense. But you got to remember, the Ravens had a terrible quarterback that year, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have a terrible quarterback. But I think they're the dark horse in the AFC this year. I think their defense is going to get them through Pittsburgh. I think they're going to overwhelm them defensively, and I think ultimately they can upset New England. That's my big take on that.
Wow. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm still picking Pittsburgh, but
most likely Pittsburgh.
I do think if honestly Jacksonville would have shown me a little more offense against the Bills. I know the Bills have a good defense, but then I would feel more inclined. But they couldn't move the ball in their home field. They won 10-3.
So me and Derek got Pittsburgh. Biggins got the Jags and the upset. Moving on to the last game of divisional round, Saints at Vikings in the Dome. So weather won't be a factor, but Minnesota is favored by 5. Biggin, why don't you start us out on this one?
I'm going with New Orleans because I believe that New Orleans, as much as I didn't see it before, I think this is going to be your 2018 Super Bowl championship team. The defense peaked at the right moment. They did. I mean, they played good all year, but they got really good towards the end of the season, and then as the playoffs got in, they just rolled. And you got guys like Cameron Jordan who rushed the passer. Your whole defense, they cover the pass well, they stop the run, and then you got the magician Drew Brees in the pocket. And as he's getting a little older, but Drew Brees looks like a fourth-year quarterback right now. He looks young, he looks healthy, he looks poppy, he's making good reads, good throws, and it's just hard to stop the guy. So I'm picking New Orleans.
This is a tough game. This is probably one of the games I'm most excited to watch. I underlined Minnesota as the team I was picking, partially because I drafted them. But I'm changing my mind. I think I'm going to go New Orleans. I mean, if they were at home in New Orleans, definitely New Orleans. But I'm still going to pick them. I think Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram, it's going to be too much. That defense has been playing pretty well defensively. I don't think Case Keenum can put up enough points to match the New Orleans offense.
The Vikings are 13-3, and honestly, I have no idea how. Like, they have a great defense. They probably I've had their defense on my fantasy team the last 2 years, and they have not disappointed.
Right.
They are a great defense. I don't know how you win 13 games with Case Keenum back there. I just really, really don't.
Surprised me too.
I just don't get it. I mean, he's obviously. People are talking about how he's like breaking out this year. I don't think so. I don't think he's that good. I think he's playing out. He played outside his mind the last 7 weeks of the season, and this will be his first postseason start. And usually, when that happens, quarterbacks don't generally perform as well. I drafted the Saints. I've been high on the Saints, and I still like the Saints. They just beat the Panthers, who are one of the hotter teams in the NFC. I like New Orleans. I think, like I've said before, Drew Brees is the great deciding factor in the NFC. The Saints will have the quarterback advantage no matter who they play in the NFC until they possibly play the Patriots or the Steelers in the Super Bowl. And so I'm taking the Saints to win that game as well. And that is the divisional round of the playoffs. So we'll look forward to championship weekend the following week, which is also a great weekend. But this divisional round is cream of the crop. This is as good as it gets.
Only 7 more games, football games, till August.
I seriously, part of watching the college football game, national championship game, was so great.
Yes, it was.
But the next morning, I was in a pit of despair.
No more college football.
I genuinely was in a pit of despair. So sad. So sad. Not till September. Till September.
September.
What am I going to do until September?
I say August.
Watch soccer.
Basketball. Come on, man.
Watch football.
I say August because that's when talks start to get a little heated.
Yeah.
So I can make it till then.
I can't do it, dude.
Bubba, I got this burning question I've been wanting to ask
I'm
you.
going to have to join a cult or something.
Oh, don't do that.
Just kidding.
Don't come back like a Asian monk. Gonna be bald. Do you think that Tim Tebow will ever end up coaching college football?
No.
You don't think so?
I think no. Nor do I think I don't think he should either.
Yeah.
I think he enjoys his life that he's got right now, and why wouldn't you?
Right.
He's putting all he can into this baseball. I think he genuinely believes that he can be a professional baseball player. And I think he really likes working for ABC, doing Good Morning America, and also working as an analyst for the SEC Network. And you know what? He makes plenty of money doing it. I don't think he feels like he needs to prove anything as a coach.
Right.
And when you talk about a guy that's wired like Tim Tebow is, all he cares about is, he cares about winning, obviously, but if he doesn't feel like he has anything to prove, then he's not going to do it. I feel like he has something to prove as a competitor, which is why he's doing baseball.
Yeah.
He wants to prove that he's an elite athlete,
right?
Basically, that he's not a failure. And so he's going to keep doing that. But I think he's happy working for ABC and doing the SEC Network, analyst stuff, and wish him all the best. I love Tim Tebow, man.
We know.
See the Heisman House commercials?
I did.
Gosh, those are so funny. The food fight one.
I want to find somebody that just hates Tim Tebow.
Bring him in here.
I love Tim Tebow. Didn't like him in college, but I love him now. Tim Tebow's the guy.
Ancestors be with us. No, I'm just kidding. This has been the Sports Room. This Friday show. Time to wrap it up. Big weekend in the NFL. Thank you so much for joining us today. You can follow us on Twitter @_thesportsroom. And know that when you follow us on Twitter, you are joining the Houston Texans cheerleaders that also follow us on Twitter. You can contact us at thesportsroomtalkshow@gmail.com. thesportsroomtalkshow@gmail.com.
Also, go watch The Greatest Showman.
Oh, really?
Just a little plug. Great movie. And then we can sing all together, "This is the greatest show," which we can sing in here because it's the greatest show.
Oh.
Find us on
I probably
Instagram.
won't sing, but
You can find us on Instagram and like our page on Facebook. We will be back here on Monday with all the reaction to divisional round weekend in the NFL. Thank you so much for joining us. See ya.